What's up, chess fans? Today's game started with d4, d5, knight f3, and I'm going to play knight f6. So this is Rafi, and I am playing a 10-minute game with 5 seconds of increment online here on Lichess against Quick Larry. Larry is a quick guy, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the knight here immediately and just put all my pawns on light squares. So I'll play e6, c6, etc. And hopefully we'll have a very calm position out of this. A calm, Slav position without too many problems here. So I'll play e6 and then I'll play c6 as well here. If black takes on if white takes on d5, no problem. I'll take back with the e pawn and put my bishop on d6, maybe even b4, castle, put the other knight on d7, and maybe eventually play for a move like e5. Ooh, that's a very interesting approach. That's okay. I'll play c6. Because the moment he commits to c5, e5 becomes a possible move that I can play right away. So maybe next move I will play knight to d7, and then I'll play e5 immediately. So knight b to d7. Now he could play e4 himself. And that would be okay with me too. I'd probably just take with the pawn. If bishop takes, then knight takes. If queen takes, then knight f6. And that position will be okay for me. So I can play a5 here right away. There is no a3 because I can just take and he will lose his rook. So let's go ahead and attack that pawn with a5. Maybe, actually, now that I think about it, if a5, he has the move b5 in this position. So why don't I instead play e5? And try to tackle this pawn chain in that kind of way. General rule of thumb also is that if your opponent is trying to attack you on the wing, on one of the wings, you should strike back in the center. So that's a really cool, interesting move there. Bishop f5. I'm not totally sure how to respond to it. I almost want to play like g6 or something. Put my bishop on the long diagonal. But I don't really feel like, I don't know. I don't want to commit my bishop on that diagonal just yet either. Let's go ahead and get the move e4 first, because that gains a tempo on the queen. And if he plays queen to g3, maybe then I'll consider g6. He does have the bishop pair, So he... Oh, that's an interesting move. That is a really interesting move, actually. Well, that move basically means that he does not want me to play... he's trying to checkmate me on h7. I could play g6 here, after which his bishop really doesn't have a lot of squares to go to. He pretty much has to trade. And bishop takes d7. If queen takes, king takes, or knight takes, should give me a pretty solid game, I think. I think I want to go for that. Shouldn't give me any trouble at all, from what I imagine. My pawns are still going to be on the light squares, and he will just have the bad bishop, really. Because that dark square bishop, as you can see, all of the white pawns are pretty much on the dark squares. So here in this case, like even a queen trade is probably okay with me. Do I really want to go for the queen trade? Let's think about it for a second. Is there any benefit to taking with the knight? If I take with the queen, he takes, I take back with the knight. Do I want to keep the queens on the board? Or do I want to take with the queen? And once queen takes, king takes, maybe. Let's go for that. That, gets me more developed and keeps my knight, on a more active square on f6. Because my king here, is on d7, is perfectly safe. It's the end game. It just makes sense to bring the king closer to the center. So now he has the bad bishop. I have the good bishop. All my pawns are on light squares. All his pawns are on dark squares. Just about. And now, I need to figure out a way to try to crack this white setup and try to make some progress here somewhere. So he just wants to play the game of just bulldozing me on this side of the board. I'm going to play b6. I want to try to create some sort of, I don't know, something. If c takes b6, then there's bishop takes b4 check. If b5, then I can maybe take on c5. So there's a lot of different ideas, and if he doesn't do anything, say he plays something like a5 or something, maybe I can take on c5 and then put the rook on b8 right away to get the open file. That's one idea. Okay, so knight c3. Thing is that he's a little underdeveloped right now, so I need to take advantage of this situation right away. I'll play bishop to e7, and then I'll immediately swing my rook over to b8. Ooh, I could have considered a5. That's an interesting move. Would have been an interesting move. Hmm. I'll play a5. I mean, if anything, you know, I'm more developed than he is. I've got my rooks connected, all my pieces developed. Um, he's not connected yet, and his bishop is still at home. So, I mean, hopefully, I'll have, you know, more of an advantage in these kind of complications if they arise. So I can take on b4, bishop takes, I can take again, then bishop takes, pawn takes is one idea. That leaves him with kind of a weakness on a4. I think I'm going to go for that idea. Let's go ahead and trade again. Either way, I'm bringing in my rook to b8 and starting to cause problems to him on this b file and stuff while he's still kind of uncoordinated a little bit. Interesting move. So he chooses to take that way. I'm gonna play rook to b8. I think I'm not worried about him taking on e4. Takes on e4, knight takes, pawn takes. If he gives me a check, I can play king e6. And then I'm coming up with f5 next move. So yeah, I'm gonna keep my pawn on e4. I'm gonna maintain a pawn on e4, I think. So there's got to be some tactics that are lingering around here at this point. So for example, if I play, I don't know, rook takes a4, knight takes, or I can play bishop takes c5, bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes. Doesn't work. Another idea might be to play rook a7, followed by rook b7. But I think in that case he'll just castle maybe. Connect his rooks. Like rook a7, king f2, rook b7, bishop a3. What am I getting out of that, really? Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, knight takes. Not really accomplishing anything, really. So that's the problem there. How to make progress from here? I need something drastically good here. Rook a7 just feels really slow to me. What are some complications that I can create or something? I don't know. I feel like I don't have a choice, maybe, just to play this. I'm not sure. I kind of had a hard time trying to find a move to play here. So king e6 now comes to mind as a move. Or rook b7, then bishop here. I don't know. Maybe getting rid of the knight will help a little bit with attacking a4 pawn. That's one idea that I have here. Because he definitely has weaknesses now. e3, c5, a4 are all weaknesses. And I just need to coordinate my pieces appropriately to try to attack some of those points. But right now, a4 seems to be the weakest of the of the pieces. Okay, so he just drops the a4 because he wants to play for activity. And he wants to play check. Okay, I see what's going on here. Let's go ahead and shut this down here. Any kind of chance of him taking the f7 pawn, let's shut that down first. So either check on d4 or f4, I will just probably end up playing king d7 here. And he still has to deal with all these different weaknesses. a4, c5 is attacked twice. And so here, I think I have to play this. So yeah, these, oh, okay, wow, wow. It's being very aggressive now. Maybe I play here first. Attacking the bishop twice. And then maybe I can trade rooks on the b file, and then no. Then there's the b7 check. If king, yeah, there's some problems. I can't really totally give up the b file either. That's another problem. Ooh, that's a nice move. Maybe I will now take. Now he still has the same problems he has to worry about. c5. c5 is a problem. Okay, so now I can play this check first. That should win the game, I think, now. Now I'll take this. Oh, I forgot that my rook was... Okay, wow. Oh my gosh. But still, I should be winning because I'm going to pick up the knight now. So now he has to worry about that pawn. I can just take this one, I think. Nothing to worry about here. I'll just come back here. We can just keep pushing pawns. Just push. Give up that pawn. That's fine. Because now I can just trade off the rooks and I will win. Wow, that was crazy, but I definitely made some inaccuracies there, especially missing the fact that he can take my rook on a4. Big oversight in my calculations. But, you know, time pressure. Didn't have enough time to calculate all the way through and, you know, made some mistakes, but let's look at it real quick. Let's see what we could have done here. So one blunder from me, one blunder from my opponent. All right, so let's see here. So here, d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, e3, which is the Colle system where the white tries to play c3, bishop d3, knight b to d2, and e4. That's kind of the standard idea of the Colle, I believe. I used to play the Colle system a long time ago. It leads to a lot of very drawish type of games a lot of times. Easy play for white. So, yeah, bishop g4, c4. Here, I choose to just go ahead and exchange this on knight on f3 because a lot of times in these positions, like the, you know, like if I play c6 here, there's always these kind of like queen b3 ideas that black will have in store. Although here, queen b3, I mean, I have queen b6. But if e6 here, then queen b3 might be kind of annoying sometimes because then there's, say I play, you know, it's kind of tricky. Like I can't play really, I don't really want to play a move like b6 here, you know. And queen c8 doesn't work really either because of this knight e5 stuff. So that's for those reasons. I just go ahead and just get rid of any kind of hassle. I just take it. Objectively, I think looking at the engine evaluation, bishop takes f3 does give a little bit more advantage to white, but not like significantly anything. Takes, and then I played, what did I play here? So e6. And he plays c5, which was a kind of interesting idea. I mean, he's trying to really shut in my dark square bishop, but I think it's just kind of a waste of a move in the opening. Like, now he should really be focusing on getting his pieces out instead of just trying to focus on shutting my bishop out and stuff like that. So anything like knight c3, bishop d3, any of those moves would have make a lot more sense than what he played, I think. So we kind of get out of book. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start turning on the engine here. So here he plays, I played c6. Bishop d3, knight b to d7, b4, I didn't hesitate, so I played e5 right away. Just broke in the center and started pushing for e4. So e5, bishop f5, very interesting idea. Went ahead and pushed the pawn all the way to e4. Queen h3. So Engine is recommending a5 now, because now b5 is not really an option, because I can just take the pawn on b5. So that makes totally a lot of sense. Because when the bishop on d3, you know, b5 was... If I play a5, then he has b5, and that was kind of good for him. But now the bishop is not on that diagonal. a5 makes a lot more sense. Attacking the pawn chain at close to its base. Okay, anyway, so I played g6. He takes. I took with the queen. Takes. We have a perfectly even position here. Not even, I'm sorry. I meant to say perfectly equal position here. Then came a4. Now b6. Immediately starting to break at the pawn chain. This time from the front. Knight c3. Bishop e7. Computer likes a5 a lot. Understandable. Bishop e7 just, you know, keeps the bishop on that diagonal, hitting the pawns on c5 and b4, and then plans to put the h rook to the b8 square. f3. Now I played a5. He played bishop a3. I took, now giving him his first weakness, which is on a4. Now giving him a second weakness on c5. So now he's got two weaknesses, two weak pawns that we can attack. This is what you're trying to do. This is the strategic part of chess, is that you're trying to provoke these little weaknesses, like weak pawns, maybe sometimes weak squares, or sometimes you're trying to make your opponent's pieces more passive. These are the kind of things that, you know, separate the really, really good chess players from the average chess players. So the really good chess players are really, really good at provoking some of these tiny, tiny little weaknesses in your position, and then capitalizing and taking advantage of those weaknesses by attacking them constantly. So rook came to b8, rook b1, rook a7. So here is when I was kind of out of a plan a little bit. Like I didn't know what to do here a little bit, to some extent. So I kind of just played rook a7, you know, just to kind of get the idea of playing rook b7 in the game. So he castles. Then I play king e6. Just getting the king off the d file. Any kind of checks might come there. I just wanted him off that. And also protecting f7. You know, getting ready for when white might play f takes e4. But anyway, computer doesn't like it that much. Recommends instead e takes f3. And then piling up pressure on that, you know, on that bishop that's pinned. Takes, knight takes, and then he played knight to e2, which was really surprising. I thought he was going to take. So now I play f5, solidifying my knight and stopping any kind of knight check followed by rook takes f7 ideas. Gives a check. Only move is king d7 to come back and protect c6. g4. Rook takes. Knight here. Takes. Rook f4. Then play knight takes c5. And this puts me in a lot of trouble after this move. Wow. That's, yeah. So if I play a move like that, then there's this devastating move here. And I'm losing the rook on b8 as well. I'll still be better according to the engine, but definitely puts me in definitely gives a lot of activity to white. But he chose to take this. Now I can just win on the spot. Check. And all I had to do to win was just rook takes f4. But I clearly missed that, and yeah, that's crazy. But lucky for me, very, very lucky for me. Very lucky for me, I still could had the reserves, you know, the ability to play rook b2 and win on the spot. And the rest of this is just a matter of technique, really just finishing out the game. So here he gave me a few checks and I let go of the g6 pawn, but obviously I have a very clear win here because this is losing for white. So again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something new from this video. Leave in the comments what you think, what your thoughts are, and what can I improve on these videos, what topics you'd like me to cover. And I'll do my best to make those videos for you. Again, this is Rafi signing out from Lee Chess tonight. Bye-bye.